Murdoch, I'm coming to get you. Yes! It is time to talk about a film. And today's films, multiples, is the Rambo Trilogy. Not Last Blood, because I didn't get to watch that one because I'm a failure. But we will talk about it. First Blood, Rambo Part 2, and then Rambo 3. I watched all three of those this weekend, and it was amazing. On the prompt of my great guest, a friend of mine, a talented motherfucker. I got to tell you. Talented. His name is Dan Vasc. What's going on, Dan?
Hey, how are you doing, man? Thanks for having me here. It's awesome
Dude, thanks
to
for coming on.
discuss here with you. Hey, my pleasure. Rambo is one of my favorite franchises ever. Arguably the best action hero of all time, in my opinion. But hey, we'll discuss it here and let the people decide.
Yeah, we'll see. I think he's one of the best, I will have to say. But let's get to guys in the chat. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? We will be taking super chats and messages, get you guys in the conversation. But first, we're going to kind of go through some stuff, and then I'll bring you guys in kind of as you guys send in your messages. We'll talk about what you want to talk about. And so what I always like to ask is, since I was prompted by you, since you said you were in, I was like, hey, what do you want to talk about? And you were like, I'm really into Sylvester Stallone right now. And I got the Rambo, so let's watch. I was like, fuck yeah, I have not watched Rambo in a long time. It's shameful. It's how long it's been.
I'm kind of on a Sylvester Stallone kick right now. I'm trying to watch his whole filmography. I think he's a really inspiring guy, and like as a person, as an artist, he's pretty cool. And I got this Blu-ray box with the 5 Rambo films, and I was like, hey, Garrett, I just got this, and let's talk about it. And one of my favorite franchises ever, like since I was a kid. I was a kid raised on the 90s. Mm-hmm. And when were you born? What year
92.
are you from?
92.
92. Oh, yeah. I'm older than you.
Oh.
And you're like, and you have like 3 children.
Yeah.
Oh man. Wow, that puts life in perspective.
I started early.
But here in Brazil, here's how TV works, at least in the 90s and the 2000s. We were always, it changed when the internet came, but we were always kind of 10 years late, a decade late. So in the 90s, Rambo was the shit here in Brazil.
You're like, I love this new action film. It's so great.
Yeah, exactly. Here on TV, here in Brazil in the 90s, it was all about the 80s stuff. And then on the 2000s, all about the 90s stuff. And Rambo was on all the time. The first Rambo movie I saw was Rambo 2. Actually, First Blood Part 2. Can we talk about how confusing those titles are?
I know. I said it like in the intro. It's First Blood, Rambo Part 2, and then Rambo 3.
Rambo? It's Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Right.
First Blood was downgraded to a subtitle, and now the thing's called Ram. Then it goes back to Rambo 3. But wait, what happened to? Yeah, it should be called.
And then 4 is just Rambo.
It's just Rambo.
Rambo.
We're going back to the beginning. But it looks like they acknowledge that. And if you go look at it on Netflix, the First Blood is called Rambo First Blood. And then 2 is called Rambo First Blood Part 2. And then 3 is still
just
Rambo 3.
Just Rambo 3.
Yeah.
So I always ask the guests like how they were first connected into the movie, and so for you it was TV, like reruns kind of thing.
TV. I taped it on my video cassette, and I kept watching it like on repeat forever. I was like I'm so grateful that I was raised on those times when people wanted to be like Sylvester Stallone and Rambo and Arnold Schwarzenegger, in spite of what some things he said today. But back on the day, like, we wanted to be like those ripped guys, those buffed
macho
action
dudes
heroes
going out holding machine guns, blowing shit away. Like,
exactly. And I so and influenced my life so much. Partly, I partly went to the army because of Rambo. I know it's stupid, but
no, I don't think it is at all. Like, I think a lot of people, like, we hear that a lot with stuff like Star Trek. Like, Star Trek got me into wanting to be an astronaut or be a scientist or whatever.
Awesome.
Like, I mean, so that same kind of thing happens whenever you see something that's like inspiring like that, even though it is over the top. The first movie is not over the top at all.
No.
We'll get into that.
We can talk about that.
But even though it does get over the top and stuff blowing up all the time and everything, there's an element to it that is inspiring. And, you know, Rambo is always, his morality is true. You know, it's a good morality.
Yeah.
He's always there to save people. So it's somebody to look up to and inspire you. So I don't think it's stupid at all for you to be like, I think that's something to aspire to, and then you join to, you know, help everybody.
Yeah,
out.
it's the whole like hero thing. I have the opportunity of being a hero, like Rambo, like so and the other like military movies that we watch. And you touch on a subject that I even have on my notes here that it's super interesting. That every movie has sort of a message, a morality behind it, and like First Blood, the first one talks a little bit about that bias against veterans.
Yeah,
especially during those days.
The Vietnam vets, because whenever they came home,
yes,
that's actually a thing.
You guys know better than I.
Yeah, there's a thing in America is whenever you see an older veteran that possibly may have been in Vietnam, you tell them welcome home, because a lot of them, whenever they got home from Vietnam, they weren't welcomed home. They were treated like you see in First Blood, and I guess we'll kind of go into First Blood. We'll talk about that now.
Yeah. Rambo talks about that on that final monologue.
He does. You kind of show it a little early in the movie. It's all about how he was kind of ostracized and not seen as a hero. Whenever, like 20 years before, or you know, in World War II, everybody came back as heroes. So they joined up, seeing their fathers, their brothers in World War II, and went, I want to, you know, help my country. And then the clusterfuck of Vietnam happened, and it's not their fault. They came back and they were seen as villains by a lot of people because of, you know, the media and how people.
The movie is not pro Vietnam in any way.
It's pro veteran, really. It's
exactly
what it was like to be a veteran and return from Vietnam and not be treated like, you know, a hero, and being the last of your, you know, the very beginning of it is he's visiting one of his old friends from Vietnam, and he passed away, and being the last person of your friends to come back, it's just like, nobody's here, nobody wants me here, I don't know what to do, I can't get a job, all my friends are dead, what do I do? And then he keeps getting pushed.
Yeah, and what a great first introduction to the character! Like right then and there, when the lady says to him, "He's dead," and you look at his face, that's like he's gone. Like the last glimpse of an optimistic and happy Rambo, it's gone right there. And by that scene alone, you know everything you need to know about the character. He's an ex-veteran, actually an ex-military, an actual veteran, and he fought in Vietnam, and he's alone, and his life kind of sucks. He's like a drifter.
And the way that he's told, it's like his friend didn't pass away because he got old or something, or he died in a car wreck. He died because of what the government did to him. So that's another thing. He's like, I'm here. My last friend's dead, and all the shit that I had to go through all that, he even got killed, even though he made it home. Like he says, one of his lines is, he died in Vietnam, he just didn't know it yet. You know, because he'd gotten what was it, the mustard, not mustard gas, but there was some chemical warfare stuff that there was going on that gave him cancer.
They say orange gas on the movie.
Oh, is that what it is?
I don't know what it is. They just say orange gas.
Yeah. So there's an element of that, and it sets it up so well that it's like the government against him. Right off the bat, he visits his friend. His friend was killed by the government. Right off the bat, you're like, I'm set. I know where we are. And like you said, in that moment, he goes, I guess that's it. And then he gives her the photo and walks away. And the whole time after that, you can even see whenever he's like coming up to her and he's like, hey, I was a friend. And he has kind of like a smile and he's like he's looking like, forward to seeing his friend. And then after that, it's just cold. He's cold the whole way.
A whole other character. He's changed. And he's like, you touch on a very important detail. He like handles the picture to the woman and goes away and throws his address book on the fire.
Yeah.
And goes away. It's like it's like that life is gone forever. And like, if life isn't shitty enough, then comes out the following happenings.
Yeah, he just gets pushed
of the movie.
Pushed.
Yeah,
why are you pushing on me?
Are you pushing me? Yeah,
yeah. It's been a long time since I watched that first one, and a lot of the times I've said this before is like I'd always catch these movies on TV, so I'd never catch the very beginning of it. So I'd always see. Every time I'd see Rambo, it would be he's already in the woods. He's already like setting up traps and stuff. So I never see the lead up, and it had a really great lead up to it. Him going through the town, and he's like, all I wanted to do is get something to eat, and that sheriff dude is such an asshole to him. But what I found interesting whenever I was watching it was they set the sheriff up as a kind guy, if you notice. And then he ends up being like a
he's
dick.
Like talking to the people. Like
he's
I think they
good morning,
set him up as a normal guy, a regular guy who has his day-to-day life. And hey, are you going to take a shower this week?
Right. The little jokes. And
he makes jokes and stuff. Yes. Yeah. So it kind of implies that attitude from the sheriff is normal. It's the normal what normal day-to-day people act like.
How they treat
that's
drifters
like he's not a villain, he's not a bad guy. It's just like how normal people treated veterans during those days.
Yeah, how he said he was like, this is a quiet town, it's a boring town, and I'm paid to keep it that way. And then he just drives past and drops him off on the other side.
Yeah, but what's super cool about that movie, the first one, like the first one I saw was Rambo 2, First Blood Part 2, and then 3, and then from the original trilogy, we're focusing on the OG trilogy. Of the OG trilogy, the first one was the last I saw.
Really?
And it was such a surprise because, hey, this doesn't look like a Rambo movie.
It's drastic. It's a drastic difference.
Yeah, it's a drama. To me, it's not an action movie. It's a drama with action. It has action on it.
Yeah. Well, it's
you can imagine my surprise.
It's not focused on the action. It's like you said. It's mostly a drama, a character study on this, Green Beret that comes back from Vietnam, and there happens to be, because of the trappings of that character, there is some action. And I do find it interesting because like what you just said, was the contrast between the following movies and this one. Does anybody die in the movie except for the guy that falls out of the helicopter? Does Rambo kill anybody?
He on purpose, he doesn't kill anybody.
He doesn't kill anybody.
Which is different from the book, by the way. Do you know that there's a book?
Really? Yes, there's a book. I have not read it, but yeah,
I didn't read it too, but there's some interesting trivia that I know about it from watching documentaries and Blu-ray extras and stuff. Originally, that's super interesting. Originally, Rambo was written to be like this absolute psychopath. Remember the kid in the woods, the little hunter kid in the woods?
He takes the gun and throws it.
And throws it. In the book, he kills that kid.
Really?
And it's like it's just one more death. He's been killing like everybody.
Wow.
And that's super interesting.
That
And
kind of makes sense
Stallone's
though, because at that point he's like switched into fight and survive mode, and that little boy isn't a little boy that, you know, he's hunting with his paw. That little boy is, you know, a Viet Cong,
the enemy.
You know, the enemy. You know, so that makes sense that he would do that in the book, and I
Yeah,
understand why I guess
he's
they took it out of the movie.
no, like Stallone. I think Stallone said it on an interview. Like he made a lot of modifications to the original scripts. They already had a lot of scripts, but the final one was like revised and redone by Sylvester Stallone, which is a great writer.
He's actually an underrated. I feel like people don't talk about. He's a really good writer.
Yeah, he wrote
really
Rocky,
great.
for God's sake.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's an excellent writer. Yeah, so he had this awesome insight along with the other writers that Rambo should be someone that you cheer for, that you're like, you're with him, and not to the point of transforming like the police department into villains. Like he doesn't kill anybody, and you're like, you have all this sensation that, oh, this is just a big misunderstanding, leave the guy alone. But you're not cheering for the cops to get killed,
right? Yeah,
but at the
you're
same
kind of like
time,
the whole time you're like, guys, just can we like settle down? Let's stop escalating this, and it just keeps getting escalated.
But at the same time, you see Rambo as a hero. He's the guy that's being like treated unfairly, and then on the end he gets a little bit closer than the original character the author wrote, that he, because when he on the moment he passes that blockade with the truck,
he's like blows through
and
him.
goes into town. The movie could have ended there if he just ran away, if he just had ran away, like, but he goes into town and seeks revenge.
Yeah.
Then he starts becoming this dark character, like he's searching for revenge and so on. So, and
That's
another interesting thing, and another interesting thing about the book is that this is not a spoiler, because like the actual ending is right there, but there's an alternative ending of the movie. You know that?
Yes.
That follows the book. Actually, it doesn't quite follow the book. The book is much the ending is much darker. Like the colonel
in the book.
Yeah, the colonel like shoots him with a shotgun in the face.
Wow.
But like, well,
I wonder if that was the message of like the government. Go with me here. The government fucks this guy up so bad. He comes back home. Home doesn't treat him like a hero, and they treat him like trash. And then he goes through all this journey, and then at the end, what kills him is the government again comes in and ends
you hit
him.
the nail in the head. You hit the nail in the head. Yeah. You know what the first name of Colonel Trotman is? Do you remember?
No.
It's Colonel Sam Trotman, and it's because his Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam, yeah. Wow.
He is like the establishment.
Yeah. And
the author wanted to give this message of what the establishment is capable of doing to someone, to use him, and then like eliminate it, discard it, just like that. That's how.
Like he's just a tool, and he's he's a broken tool. Let's throw him away.
Get rid of it.
Wow.
Exactly.
I gotta read that book. I really do.
After I'm very curious about reading it too. Yeah, well, I know that because preparing for this stream, I watched the commentary track on the. I prepared. I even have notes.
Nice.
But I watched the commentary track of the first movie by the author of the book, and then he goes about the differences between the book and the movie. It's pretty cool. I recommended people to listen to that commentary track.
I love commentaries. Commentators are the best.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's so great. You get like little sometimes they do crazy funny stuff, and then you get little nitpicks of like little things that they did on set, or you get backstory stuff. Yeah. I miss that stuff.
Yeah.
I miss that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like that went away a little bit with Blu-ray, right?
Yeah.
It was a lot more present in DVD.
In DVDs, it was
reason.
like the boom of DVDs. It's like they'd add all this extra feature stuff, and then I guess it was just expensive
discs.
to like do like
probably
do all that stuff. But that was like in my prime teen years was all of those DVDs that would come out with all the special features. I would watch the shit out of those like nonstop all the time. All the time. I love that stuff. But yeah, it's kind of sad that they don't have that anymore. It's here and there.
Yeah, there's like when there's space on the Blu-ray, I feel they do that. But back in the day, there are entire discs only with extra footage.
Yeah,
so
extra features.
Extra features, that was pretty awesome. Hey, but something very interesting that Stallone said about that original ending, they actually did a testing screening of the original ending, and everybody hated it, and Sylvester Stallone hated it. Like, he tried to buy the how do you say,
the rights?
Buy the rights of the movie so he could get rid of it. And no one would ever.
He was that
watch,
unhappy.
and we wouldn't have. Yeah, he was really, really, really unhappy. Then they did a re-edit and actually shooted the alternative ending, which became the normal ending, because he said, look how interesting that is. He said that he didn't like the message that this would give to veterans. Like
I hear that.
They would be like, so my only way is to kill myself, to be erased, to be eliminated.
Like that's my only option. Yeah, I think he made the right choice whenever adapting it to a film and mass media to make it a more positive message. Like, even though he does go to jail, he gets, justice happens. He goes to jail for the crimes that he committed, but he doesn't get killed, and he's redeemed in a way. So yeah, I think it was a good choice to make.
Yeah, absolutely. And that monologue at the end, to me, one of the best performances of Sylvester Stallone ever. What a monologue. It's like
another thing about Sylvester Stallone. There's something about like the 80s or the late 80s and the 90s that like wiped his acting cred away for some reason. People treat him like, oh, he's a dumb action guy. That dude did a lot of really great acting in the 70s and the 80s, in the early 80s, that I feel like people don't really think about. And like Rocky, in Creed, recently, he did a phenomenal job in Creed. So it's like, you guys like throw him away as like, oh, he's the Judge Dredd, like, I'm the law guy. Like he's a dumb action guy. He's not a dumb action guy.
Yeah, I think it was the late 80s and 90s that he kind of got that reputation with movies like Rambo 3 and Daylight. That one
over the top.
Over the top, and that one, the Cliffhanger. Yeah, I was gonna say the one that he's climbing a mountain.
Yes.
Yeah, Cliffhanger.
He's hanging there.
But
no.
Yeah, just hanging there. But yeah, I think he got that reputation during those times because in the 70s and 80s, like First Blood, Rocky, like 1 through 4. And 5 is a little bit dumbed down. He already had that reputation, but Rocky 1 through 4, and as you said, the Creed movies, and even Rocky 6, which is also confusingly called just Rocky Balboa.
That's true.
Funny, I don't know what it was about the 2000s that they don't like numbers anymore.
Yeah, they went to like, either they would just, if they were going to do a reboot or a sequel, they would take the original name and just make it that, or they would have a subtitle that was like,
Yeah, like I hate that. What's wrong with numbers? For
it
God's
makes
sakes?
sense. It's easy to follow. Try and go back and watch try and tell me which order all of the Transformers movies go in. I have no clue.
Oh man,
there's Transformers and then all the other ones, because it's like Resurrection or like Dark Side of the Moon or some weird shit. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
Is that 1, 2, 3? Tell me what those are.
I have no idea. Now, instead of just picking it up from a shelf or from a streaming service, I have to go to Wikipedia.
I have to go IMDb. Which one's in the right? Like, when did it come out? When was the release date? So now, since I think we wrapped up our First Blood pretty well, we're gonna go to the next one. But before we go to that, I'm gonna read a couple super chats, and then we'll get to Part Two, where they really ramp up the action, and it almost loses all of the nice meaning and depth, and it's all just explosions. But it's not.
It still has it a little bit.
It's not
still
bad.
has a great story.
It does a little bit.
But yeah,
I'm not saying that as a down. I'm not putting it down. It's a completely different film, stylistically,
for sure.
But it's still great. All right, Sarah. Oh, this is going to be difficult. This is going to be different. Sarah D. Oliveira Mondani? Maybe. I hope so. It's
a Brazilian name?
Maybe?
It sounds like it.
Possibly.
Okay.
For 20, what's R? Is that Brazilian?
It's reais. You can say Brazilian dollars.
20 Brazilian dollars. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sarah. I'm sorry I butchered your name. I apologize. It's probably your first time coming to the channel. Dan brought you over here, and I'm just screwing up your name just viciously. We live in a crisis of masculinity. I agree. How can Rambo's culture help to overcome this? That's a good question.
Man, just show it to your kids.
Yeah.
And let them enjoy it. Let the art do its job. You don't need to do anything.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of good messages in there that even though we aren't, we didn't go to Vietnam, and not all of us. I know some went to Iraq and Afghanistan, and they have those same feelings, because I know, even especially right now with what happened in Afghanistan, they feel mistreated, worthless, or feel like the country that they love. He says this in the sequel, right? It's in Part 2. He says, we wish that the country that we love so much loved us the way that, what was it? I'm butchering it, but
that final speech, man.
I'm trying to remember how he said it, but that's,
basically
that's what it is. It's, we wish that the country loved us how we loved it, and how we sacrificed
how we love it.
And that's kind of the general message of almost all of these, except for the third one, because I don't even know what the message of the third one was. Except blow shit up, which is also still good.
They tried to do something for Afghanistan, something more direct.
Yeah,
that didn't age well, right?
Yeah, it was like it. But yeah, I think Dan's right. Just let them watch these films and show your kids these movies whenever they get old enough, whenever you think they can handle it.
For sure.
And then talk to them about it. Don't after the movie be like, "Hey, what'd you think about that? What did you get out of that? What do you think about this? What do you think about that?" And then maybe you'll get questions and you talk about it, and then you kind of start changing. Because we talked about it earlier. As I have kids, and it's kind of fixing this culture. Unfortunately, culture is always kind of in the future. What you can't change what happens right now, right? We all go, how do we fix this culture? How do we change all this? You can't change it now. You have to plan for the future and change for the future. So it sucks because it's long term, but if you have kids, teach them correctly. Talk to them, morals, values, and that's how you change culture that way. It's going to take a long time, but the bad guys out there are planning long term as well. So you got to plan long term. But yeah.
Yeah. Man, one of the fondest memories that I have.
Masculinity, bro. We got to get back to it.
Bro. Man, one of the fondest memories that I have about these movies is watching it with my dad.
Yeah.
Watching with my dad, and we would have conversations about, hey, Dad, that's how I want to look like when I grow up. And he would tell me stories about his time on the army and when he used to work out and be buffed and like just it's super important to let your kids know that there is an alternative than what's being pushed out there by the media and public schools and shit.
Yeah, and I think you kind of got it. You got it, Sarah. Is that masculinity? It's that we're in a crisis of anti-masculinity, right? It's not okay for a boy to go out and pretend to shoot his friends. It's not okay to do these kind of things. But in our culture, right? Our pop culture says that. Our news tells us that. In reality, it's much different. You go outside and you see kids doing that stuff all the time. Nobody has any problem with it. So it's not encouraging more of that. It's really just letting kids be kids. You know,
let
letting
boys be boys.
Yeah, and promoting masculinity and promoting femininity and liking both of those things, and that's really what it is. Because I think the pendulum has swung so far. Because for a long time it was all masculine, and then it swung all the way to the other way, and now it's all feminine focused. And now we have stories like where young men are not going to college, dropping out of college because they don't feel that college is for them, because it's all kind of focused for women. So that's not a good thing, and this is not a good thing. So we need to come somewhere in the middle and kind of find a good balance. Next is Russian Bob. I think it's Russian, like I'm a Russian, not a Russian like from the Russias. I'm rushing, for $5. Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to have to watch all the Rambo movies this weekend. I blame you all. You should.
You're welcome.
Yes, you are welcome. Let me check one time. All right. So, Rambo Part Two. What do you think? So, it's your first movie that you said.
It was the first I ever watched, and it was like it's everything. It has everything. It has a great story. It has the action. It has the cool and pretty girl. And by the way, Ko is the name of the girl. What a lesson into how to write a badass female without needing to resort to feminism, feminist activism.
Yeah. She didn't have to downplay Rambo's abilities to be a good... Yeah.
She's still feminine. She still looks like a woman, and she doesn't downplay him. She actually saves him.
Yeah.
From torture on that scene and she actually uses her femininity to save him. She disguises herself as the sexy prostitute from the village.
They were like, look at that chick.
You don't need to write masculine ladies for them to be badass. Here's a lady using her femininity to be a badass and to save the guy, to save the hero.
Yeah, otherwise, what would happen? He would have died. I need to go back and watch it, but I think he would have died. Like if she didn't save him.
Yeah, he was like he was being tortured there, and I think he would. I think what happens in that scene is that he refuses to cooperate, but then they bring his friend, the POW. Right. That he was trying to save, and they threaten him, and then he accepts to cooperate and to send a message to the guys on the base. And what would happen is that he would cooperate with the guys and send a message, and that's it. He would be a POW there.
He'd just be like the rest of those guys,
yeah. And man, and how cool is that there was actually POWs there, and he was sent there just to take photos,
that scene where he's like, "You want me to leave him there?" Yeah. And he just looks over at the general, and I think the general's like, "I know you're not going to leave him there," and he's like, "I'm not going to leave him there." But he doesn't say. He doesn't say. It's all done through looks. Yeah, like, I know exactly what Rambo.
They say that because they don't expect to find anyone there. They only sent him there to prove to the media and to the families of the veterans and such that there is no one being held left prisoner behind, but there was. Yeah, but there was people left behind.
So whenever they bring that one POW back, they're like, nope, abort, leave him there. No, we can't have anybody.
We can't have this.
Yeah.
Exactly. And imagine the surprise at the end. That ended is fucking awesome, man. Imagine the surprise that not only Rambo finds the POWs that weren't supposed to be there, but he finds them and brings them back by himself.
Yeah.
I mean,
he doesn't have the extraction team,
awesome,
none of that stuff.
Yeah, he steals an helicopter and brings them to the base by himself. I thought when I was a kid, I saw that and I was like, holy crap.
And he does it
I
in
wanna
a
be like this
magnificent
guy.
fashion. Like, it's so bad. Like with the
Yeah,
freaking machine gun blowing people away, and then with the did they have a bow in the first one? There's not a bow in First Blood.
in the first,
That's where they introduced the bow. Is Part 2
on the second movie.
legendary bow work and that shit, like
Man.
blowing people up with those explosive rounds,
arrows. Yeah, man, awesome. And the way that Murdoch reacts when Rambo is announcing on the radio that he's coming back.
I'm coming to get you.
First on the torture scene, he's like, "I'm gonna get you,"
and everybody in the room is like,
"Oh my god." Everybody in the room, like, their assholes like are like this. Nothing passes. They're like, "Oh my god." And then he contacts them again on the radio when he's on the helicopter. "Hey, I'm coming back with the POWs." And Murdoch is just like pissing his pants.
Yeah.
He's
like
awesome,
hiding in
man.
the back room somewhere else.
Yeah, and I see the message they put on that movie, sort of it's a great continuation of the message from the first one. It's like how the establishment, how governments can treat their own men, their own soldiers, their own veterans as mere tools, and are actually not only willing to forget about you, but also are willing to go out of their way to make sure you are forgotten.
Yeah.
Which
to
is
save
what
face,
they were doing.
To make themselves look good on the media. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
which
still happening.
Which is what they were doing.
That's amazing, because that shit is happening right now. Just yesterday, they had a whole hearing with the generals about Afghanistan, about leaving people in Afghanistan whenever they should have got them out. That shit's still happening. So it's still a relevant story, and it's still a relevant message, is that stuff happens, like that people do get left behind. And it's that's what I said like earlier. It's not dumb for you to want to aspire to something like that and get you into it involved. It's like he went back, the moment he said, "Just take pictures." Murdoch says, "Just take pictures and come back." And he's like, you want me to leave them there? He ain't leaving them there. There's no way he's going to leave him there.
Yeah.
That's not Rambo. He's going to get him back. So he's a good role model to kind of go off of.
Yeah, and what a great way to send a message, to send arguably even a political message on those movies, arguably.
Yeah.
Tastefully,
yes.
Tastefully, without preaching at you, and like focusing on morals, not necessarily on partisan politics.
I think they even in the movie, it may have been the first one or the second one, but they even talk about how bad politicians are, but they don't point a direction. It's like all politicians, all government officials suck. That's like,
that's why I said
suck.
Arguably, because why I said arguably, because it could be simply about ethics, and that has a consequence in the politics. And because the movie is military center, it has to involve politics somewhere, some way. But what a tasteful way to send a message without sounding preachy, without talking down on people. It's a great way to do it.
And they could have easily said this was X president's fault or this party's fault. That's what they would have done now. If they would have made a movie and they tried to make pitch this message, they would have been, this is whoever's fault. This is Trump's fault. This is whatever fault, right?
It would be implied.
It would have been. It wouldn't even be implied. I feel like it would have been front center stage. They would have told us the subtlety.
I don't doubt it.
In older, in classic movies, it's sad. Like 80s is classic film now, but
God,
in classic film,
it was 40 years ago.
Their messages are so subtle, and they give you these, and you kind of go, oh, and you think about it later. Oh, there is a message there. What does that mean? And you kind of deconstruct it from there. They don't make it so blatant. That's what's so annoying about movies these days. It's like it's not even the politics that are in movies these days that I hate. It's that you suck at telling stories about those politics. You could tell me some commie story, I guess. I don't like commies, but you could. But if it was told in an interesting way, I might go, well, that was a good movie. Like, let me think
Yeah.
about those ideas. That's how you win people over. You don't win people over by going, think how I think, and if you don't, you're a evil person. You tell them a story, and inside that story is wound a message. And
Yeah,
like
it's the
Hollywood
beauty.
these days has lost that. They lost the plot.
Yeah, it's a beauty of art.
Yeah.
Art will always be bigger than the agenda. If the agenda is bigger than the art disappears because the art doesn't accept
It turns to propaganda at that point.
Sharing space with propaganda, with the agenda. That's why I think a lot about that when I'm writing music, when I'm writing songs. Even if I want to send a message and if the message is good, the message can never be bigger than the art because the art is too noble for that. It won't accept it. It will remove itself if I give priority to the agenda. And I think that's what most movie makers nowadays, that sort of understanding is what they're missing.
Yeah.
It's kind of disrespectful, a lack of respect for the art.
Yeah. And I don't know where that was lost. I don't know if it was like a film school thing where they just stopped focusing on that type of storytelling, or a cultural thing that moved into the arts.
Yeah, it's like a disease, little by little.
Yeah, it's a disease. And Rambo's the cure.
Rambo's the cure. Exactly. The latest Rambo movie was in 2019.
Yeah.
And it was a fucking awesome movie with a lot of fan service in 2019.
It's like, crazy that they were able to get that through and not fill it with some kind of crap.
Yeah. And you haven't watched it.
No.
Right?
I haven't watched the 5th one, right? I watched the 4th one when it came out, but I haven't watched the most recent one,
Yeah, it's pure fan service, man. Stallone is the master, in my opinion, in fan service. Like he's treating you like someone he wants to please.
Yeah.
Well, not
entertain
someone
like an audience. You know, it's like I would like to entertain you.
Yeah, and you can see that with Creed, with the latest Rambo movies. It's pure fan service. It's pure like a massage in your nostalgia per se.
Well, in the Expendable movies.
Nostalgia. Expendables,
which that's the line is in this movie.
I was gonna say that when he's talking with Cole about asking why did they send you, and he's like, oh, I'm expendable.
Yeah.
And then he explains, if someone she doesn't speak English as her first language, so she asks, what is expendable? He answers, when someone invites you to a party and you don't go, it doesn't make a difference. And like, it's so, oh my god,
it's tragic,
so
kind of,
so tragic, so sad. And then in the middle of the movie, when they get separated, and there's this little wholesome moment when she calls him. She says, Rambo. He looks at her and she says, you're not expendable. And he's like,
yeah, just and it gives that masculine, like,
yeah,
I
but it's
understand you.
Super cool, and it's super wholesome, even with his kind of, even he doing this, you know, that it's like acknowledging
your
the
grizzled
wholesomeness.
Exterior just broke a little bit, just a little bit,
and that little exchange inspired the whole Expendables franchise. So
what I was going to say about the
Expendables
and Sylvester Stallone and fan service, like the Expendables is like a fan service franchise for everybody that loved action movies of the 80s and 90s. It's like you bring every single action star from the 80s and 90s and put them in the single movie, or the sequel or the third one. That's what it is. It brings in not even just American action stars like Arnold and Sylvester Stallone, but it brings in people like Jet Li.
Since the first one.
Yeah, Asian action movies. So it's not even just one genre of action, it's across the board of action. If you're a fan of action film, these are fan service movies for that. Yeah.
Asian representation pre Shang-Chi. Can you believe that?
Is that possible? Hold on.
My god!
Did it get scrubbed? Is it not? That didn't happen. It never happened. But yeah, you talk about that scene where Rambo and what was her name? Cole? Cole? They have that little touching scene, and she gives him his like necklace thing or whatever, and that kiss,
man.
and you're like, oh. And I it's been such a long time since I watched the movie. I was like, oh man, she's gonna die, isn't she? And then she steps up, and it's just like,
immediately
out.
After she says, "Will you take me to America with me?" And you're like, whoa.
And he was like, yes, I will take you with me.
Chance. Yeah, Rambo has a chance of living a normal life,
and that's where it
so
turns.
Cool.
Because at that point, he did say she was like, "What are you gonna do?" I'm gonna go to this other country, and then she said, "Try to make it to America." And he said, "Yeah." Like he gave up. I really like in that moment he gave up. He was like, "I can't even save these. I can't save these men. I can't complete the mission. I'm gonna sneak away and run with my tail between my legs." And then she gets killed, and he's like, switch on, I'm gonna fuck these guys up.
Puts on the bandana.
Yeah. And then he fucking saves everybody, That's the turning point in that movie where you think, oh man, we're down and out. Nope.
Yeah.
I love that like the 3-act structure is like a lost art. Again, things about writing that have seemed to be forgotten, that like the tasteful good way of having that 3-act structure, like right at the end of the second act, we're at our lowest point. We've lost. They've left us. Like at that point, Rambo's been abandoned by who he thought was on his side. He lost the POW. The only thing he has left is her, and then she gets taken away.
Tortured.
Yeah, he was tortured again, which is we got a little glimpse of that in the first movie. He gets tortured again. Which is a great shot, too, when he's in that pit and the leeches and stuff, and they cut it off, the evil Ruskies.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, he's at his lowest point, and that's where he switches, and then it's all action set pieces until the end.
It's the hero's journey. It's the death of the hero. He's at the like things couldn't get any worse.
Yeah.
And then the only option is to go up.
Like, what else do I have other than to just kill every single one of these bad guys and save all of the POWs, and then go back and then throw it in, Murdoch's face and be like, I saved all of them. I got back. Fuck you. Bam.
Yeah.
He puts that knife down.
That other guy that was piloting the helicopter when they left, the one that is that it's on Karate Kid.
Yes.
And Cobra Kai. He's
Martin
like
Cove.
he's typecasted asshole. Like he only
he's got like that asshole fake evil villain face.
Yeah, he only plays assholes. But yeah, he tries to like welcome Rambo.
Like,
hey,
glad you're back.
You made it. Rambo knees him in the balls.
Yeah. It's great. And that's whenever he's like going in there with his machine gun and he just blasts all the computers and stuff.
Yeah, destroys everything. And when he starts to shoot like Murdoch's face, he's just like
he's like, oh shit. He's coming for me.
Contemplating what's coming.
Yeah, and then he tries to save himself and he's like, I didn't know. We didn't know that blah 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 blah. He's like,
only following orders.
Don't fucking lie to me.
Yeah, and Rambo's like, find them. There are others there.
Yeah.
Find them or I'll find you.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
Yeah.
And then that last speech with the colonel.
Yeah.
When the colonel says, the wars are bad, things are imperfect, but don't hate your country for it. And Rambo's like insulted. The way Sylvester Stallone plays it, it's like, hate it? I would die for it. It's like you Colonel, you're not understanding. You don't understand. And then the Colonel says, "What do you want?" And he asks, "I want what they want. I want my country to love me as much as I love it."
That's what it is.
And then he goes away I think they're on Thailand.
Yeah, and he just walks away. And you're like, and then the credits roll, and then it cuts away, and you're like, what? He just walked away. Like, what's going on? He just like mic drop moment, and he just walks away into Taiwan. Man.
Yeah. And the colonel asks him, "How are you gonna live?" And he answers, "Day by day."
What a badass! No plan. He's just gonna walk
awesome.
into and then the third one picks up right from there.
Yeah, it's a few years. I think it's like 4 or 5 years.
I want to say 5 years
later,
because I think they say it in the movie.
Yeah, on real life is like 3 years. The second one is from 85, if I'm not mistaken, and the third one is from 88. 1 year before I was born. How crazy is that? We're talking about stuff here that was out before we were even born.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the third one, he kind of found. By the way, do you have something else about the second one?
No, I think that's it. Actually, I want to read a couple super chats before we get to the third one. We're gonna do it. This is nice. We have a movie, super chats, super chats. Yeah, it's working out.
It's a nice dynamic. Yeah.
All right. Where were we? Oh yeah, Russian, like Russian. Next is Jose Gonzalez. What's up, Jose? I love you, bro. For $5. Ole. Oh man, why you gotta make me say stuff like this? Ole Duncan. And Garrett.
What?
Thank you. It's O-L-A with a little accent. D-A-C-N. Ole?
D what?
D-A-C-N. I think he meant to say Dan and just added a C by accident.
Yeah, probably. But
it's
the only
Jose.
part is pronounced Ole.
Ole. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very uncultured. I'm sorry. To contrast Rocky, do you think they're keeping Bond so old to make sure he looks vulnerable? Dan, give us a heavy metal screech.
Heavy metal screech? Yeah, turn down the volume. Wow!
Hey, there you go.
I'm not warmed up.
It's okay. It's better than I could do. I wonder. Yeah. Well, I think they just like Daniel Craig, and a lot of the movies have been, especially this last one, it's been pushed like 3 years at this point almost. At least since they started filming it. So they kind of have to release it, and he's already old. So this is definitely his last movie. There's no way he's doing any more movies. He's done 5. He is kind of getting up there in age.
But his theory makes sense.
Yeah.
Like an old Bond is like a more vulnerable and manageable Bond, let's say, by a female. And I don't doubt anything.
Have you seen that picture of Bond riding the back of the
I saw
Vespa or whatever it is?
And then I saw a meme on Twitter with that picture and like beside it, Pierce Brosnan riding it, and she's the holding bike like a badass, and with the girl behind him, like what it's now, what it used to be like, and it's like, oh man, the contrast,
man, jeez.
All right, yeah, then and now, yeah, that was it.
I'm trying to find the picture. Scroll.
But there's hope. I don't know. I think the Bond franchise is too much of an established brand, masculine brand, and if they try to get it wokeified, exactly, that was it.
Now, that's sad.
Look at it. If they transform Bond
hips and stuff, oh
yeah,
man. He's not even on a motorcycle. He's on like a Vespa, little scooter. She does not look happy. Neither of them look happy about this.
And he looks like, oh, I'm gonna touch you the least.
Is it okay if I hold your hips? Is it okay? I want to get your consent.
Is it consensual? Yeah. But I think Bond is too much of a. Oh man, yeah.
Now, then. Now.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Bond fans won't stand for this shit. If they transform Bond into a cock, like. I think their pockets will reflect that.
Yeah, their pockets are gonna.
I hope so.
For sure.
I hope so.
Yeah, I don't know if they're like intentionally doing that, but it does seem to be a trend of like making, deconstructing again heroes, and then making those heroes old into like, I don't know if that's like demasculating them in some way, or it's like, oh, look at these heroes, they're all old. Look at Wolverine, he's old. Look at Bond, he's old. All of these, like, it's like a negative thing to be old, It seems like that's what they're kind of doing. So, I mean, he is naturally just actually getting older, and he hasn't. He needs a good movie to go out on. I hope this is it. I don't know. I'm back and forth on this film. Some people have said it's good. Some people have said it's not good. I don't know. I hope it's good because he needs a good one to go out on. If he goes out on 2 bad movies in a row, that blows. Because I like Daniel Craig. I thought he was a good Bond. Like, Casino Royale, amazing. At some point, I need to talk about Casino Royale on one of these because it's just a fantastic movie. And I like Skyfall, so I feel like every other movie has been good. Skyfall, or Casino Royale, good. What was the other one? Quantum of Solace,
Quantum of Solace.
And then Skyfall, good. And then Spectre, Hopefully this one's good. But who knows? Yeah,
we don't have a James Bond going out on a good movie for a while.
Yeah. I really, let's put all the Hollywood, what they will probably do. I'm really hoping that they'll come after this and pick somebody that's good. I don't care what color he is, as long as it's a guy.
Yeah.
And just go back to just kind of cheesy Bond. I want a little cheese. Give me a little cheese. Not too much cheese. Not Die Another Day, or Die Tomorrow Never Dies. Whatever the one he's like parasailing on the big wave.
Surfing on the... Oh,
that was too much. That was too much. Rail it back to like a GoldenEye cheese. I want that amount of cheese.
Exactly. GoldenEye. It's my personal favorite.
I love
GoldenEye.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Same director as Casino Royale.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I believe so. Let's double check.
And James Bond is another one of those franchises that you want to get your sons, your daughters too, but especially your sons into, along with Mr. John Rambo.
Yeah. I'm just double checking here. Martin Campbell, the director, he directed. Oh, he directed The Mask of Zorro as well. I love that movie. That was a good movie.
Oh, I love it too.
Antonio Banderas in his prime. Yeah. That dude was great. Yeah, wasn't that show? Oh, he directed Green Lantern. That's a negative, bro. I'm sorry.
I never watched it.
Not good.
Never even.
GoldenEye. Yep. So he directed GoldenEye. What, like, if not the best. I know a lot of people like the more older stuff, but GoldenEye was like my shit. It was like right there, perfect. Plus, N64.
That's why I never say the best. I say my favorite.
My favorite.
No one can argue with
GoldenEye.
that.
I had the VHS. It was at my grandparents' house. I'd always watch it when I go over there because they were cool.
N64 game?
N64, like,
man,
the best. Did you hear about the N64 re-release?
Yeah. And I actually commented on someone
online. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God, online. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we need to stream that.
Yes, for sure.
Oh God. Yeah. But
no odd job.
I was talking.
That bastard.
But yeah, I think I was talking to Krista, I think, and I said to her, I hope they're kind of testing the waters. We're going on a tangent here, by the way.
Hey,
but
no problem.
I hope they're testing the waters to release an N64 Mini.
Oh,
I will fucking buy that.
I got my
so
N64
fast. Right
here. I've been playing it on. I played Gauntlet on stream.
Awesome.
The other day. Got my capture card down. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. And that's the way to play it, by the way. That's the way to enjoy it. Of course, it's awesome coming to Switch, but to me, that's
classic. Bro. I'm interested to see what the Switch version of the N64 controller, like they're re-releasing that controller. I wonder if it's going to feel the same, if it's going to like have all the same kind of tight controls and quality-wise, is it going to feel the same?
Yeah.
I hope they don't cut any
corners.
It's
kind of iconic.
Yeah.
It's very iconic.
It's a weird ass shape, but it's iconic. You can't
like a controller with a giant penis
right in the middle,
in the middle, like pointing towards me. And the first time I saw that, hey, how the hell do I hold this?
It's almost as confusing as the Dreamcast controller. You remember the Dreamcast had that big hole in the middle, and you put stuff in the
hole in the middle, and the wire comes out on the wrong side.
Yeah, in the front. Like, what is that? I'm facing the console. What do you want the console behind me? That's
so weird, so alien,
so weird. Strange. All right, Jesse Moore.
Rambo.
Back to Rambo in the super chats. I'm sorry, guys. Thanks, Jose, for the question. I appreciate you, bro. Jesse Moore for $50. Let me get a
Whoa!
oh yeah for that $50. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for some great entertainment and discussion. I really enjoy getting to see more of you, Quarter Black and Dan. Thank you for your music. Thanks,
Hey,
Jesse.
my pleasure. Thanks for listening to it.
$50. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
Aaron Klein for $5. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hail, Garrett and Dan. Have either of you seen Ruckus with Dirk Benedict? No. And Linda Blair? No. Similar to,
no, never heard of it.
But released 2 years before First Blood. Ruckus. I'm going to look this up now. I'm looking it up.
Oh, really?
Ruckus.
Similar
IMDb.
to First Blood.
Ruckus. Make sure I spelled it right. I'm gonna let me screen share this.
Can you guys hear me chewing, by the way? I hope I'm not making weird noises in everybody's ear. Discussing ASMR.
All right, Ruckus, 1980. What is that? The guy from the A-Team?
Well, it looks very 80s.
It does. It looks very early 80s.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. Maddox County.
Comedy romp across country roads. How is that similar to First Blood?
I understand. It's like country town. Similar. Okay.
Oh.
This looks similar. He's got a machine gun and a shotgun.
Oh, totally.
Wait, what? Hold on. I gotta deconstruct this. Hold on. Oh no, where'd the picture go? No, what the? No, what are you doing? Now it's really going all over the place. What is it? I hate these in between fucking ads.
Oh, how does this work? Oh,
there it is.
God,
Okay,
sorry.
so he's got a shotgun here. Got a shotgun, but he's also got a bandolier of like machine gun rounds.
Yeah.
What are you doing here, bro? And then like maybe
it's just fashion.
Revolver bullets and a knife. I love that. I love this. It doesn't make any damn sense. Like some artist was like, all right, what is the coolest shit we could put on him? Okay,
and there's an fucking explosion behind him.
Some explosion.
And lightning and a storm.
Damn. The coolest stuff altogether.
Awesome.
Put him on a motorcycle.
I want one of my album covers to look like that.
Yeah, that's fucking metal. Well, look at that one. What is this? What is this gun?
That straight out looks like a Contra.
It does. Look at this revolver.
Cover.
It is like,
oh my god, it's almost god,
so large. Yeah. And those grenades.
Two-hand revolver.
Ruckus.
Now you got me
Linda
curious.
Blair from the Blair Witch.
Hey, nice
showing a little
cleavage.
side boob there.
Yeah.
All right, let me remove.
We need more of that over the top, cheesy 80s, the badassery,
just
and
explosions and stuff.
Boobs. Yeah.
When was the last time you saw a good action movie aside from Rambo? I know you like Rambo. Like
John Wick, and
that's a good
since
point.
Then,
that's a good point.
Since then, like, I never saw any John Wick sequels. By the way,
I don't know if they're the first one.
Any good? Only the first one, but I love the first one. I feel it was sort of the end of an era of like non-political Hollywood.
Yeah,
right there. I think it was 2016. John Wick,
when that
first
one came out. I want to.
I'm not sure.
I want to say you're right. Somewhere around
around 2016ish, kind of like the end of the non-political. What?
2014.
14.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. Yeah. So even earlier, but it was kind of at the end of like our peace time.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that.
It was the calm before the storm, the political
crap
storm.
Before the storm. Yeah, and how fucking great. Just a movie about a guy pissed off because someone killed his dog, and he's like this badass assassin. But yeah, since then, like 2014, action movies, I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
The sequels are good. They're not as good as the first one. but they're still pretty good.
Right.
I saw the third one in theaters, and that was he had a lot of good fight. Like all of them have good fights and good action. You know, the story's kind of whatever. But I mean, you don't go to John Wick, I guess, for the story. It's like you hurt his dog, you kill his dog. That's all you need. I kind of like.
And that's why the Rambo movies are so great, because you don't go there for the story, but they deliver anyway.
Yeah, they
a
give you a good
fantastic
message.
story.
All right, that was Aaron Klein. Last one here for now is Lady Art. I think that's how you said it there. Oh man, you're really challenging me today with a K, small C with an arrow thing above it. I need a whole chart of like the different currencies and how you break those down. I think it's Czech. It's a CZK. I think it's Czech. But thank you anyways for the 129 whatever that is. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, creators should go back to clever writing of messages and metaphors and not to shove propaganda down our throats. 100%. You
Amen.
are correct. Amen.
A woman.
All right. A woman. A woman. All right. So, Rambo. I was going to say part 3, but it's not. It's just 3. Rambo 3.
Just Rambo 3.
What are your thoughts on Rambo 3?
Well,
I know it gets, it's a little.
It's what most people see as a Rambo movie. Like the cheesiness, explosion. It was the most expensive one.
Really?
I read. Yeah, it was the most expensive one, even though people consider it the weakest regarding the writing.
Yeah.
And Sylvester Stallone was the biggest in that movie. I mean, that man was already big on Rambo 2. On Rambo 1, he had like Rocky 3 physique. But on Rambo 2, he got big. On Rambo 3, he got huge.
Fucking massive. The
fucking massive. Even his face, like his neck is like... he has muscles on his cheeks, for God's sake.
He's got muscles on each individual finger. Yeah, that dude is roided out to the gills.
And by the way, what a great guy to get inspiration from the fitness side of his life.
Crazy.
The guy at 75 now,
still,
and is still training hard as hell, man.
Yeah,
what an inspiration.
Crazy. It's super, not just like huge buff wise, like chiseled. The dude is like super
shredded.
lean, shredded, lean dude. It's fucking ridiculous. Hey, Lady Gravemaster in the chat. What's up, Lady Grave?
Hey, Lady G, how are you doing?
We gotta do a conversation where we talk about Riggs, Martin Riggs, and Lethal Weapon.
She's the Riggs lady. Oh man. She ran such a campaign against John Rambo on Twitter today, but she failed ultimately.
I went around the office at Louder with Crowder, and I was like, Rambo or Martin Riggs, and I got kind of like about the same split on.
Okay, so maybe we rigged the polls, but anyway.
But yeah, I think Martin Riggs would win. Anyways, so.
Hot take. On a Rambo stream.
I know.
How dare you.
At first, whenever you say it, like you think, Rambo, that's ridiculous. That's a stupid question. Yeah. But then I actually went to IMDb, not IMDb, but the wiki, and I looked at their stats and like, not their stats, but like their training and their back. And they're actually pretty evenly matched. I know we're going to be talking about this.
But if you take Rambo from Rambo 3, man,
he's a monster in that movie. He's a monster. He's huge.
Like it's the movie where they start introducing like the more of the action movie tropes.
Yeah.
Like the funny one-liners. He's not such a dark character anymore. He like throws jokes around with the colonel when they're facing life and death situations. Even the colonel calls him out. Hey, now it's not the time for jokes. Imagine calling Rambo out for joking. So it's the movie where he's the least Rambo like psychologically, but he's the most Rambo physically.
That's a good point. Like they went. The first movie was like this, and he's like psychologically he's here, and then he's like physically he's
dark
at peak. And then the second one they went, okay, we're gonna go here with the action, and he's like he's shredded, ridiculously strong.
Yeah,
he's got action.
but we keep the character a dark character,
and then the last one
deep
they
character.
went like this. They went like, and oh no, it's the action's way up here, and it's like all over the top. And
exactly,
a lot of people say they don't like the movie, and I saw like on Twitter they were like, Rambo 1 and 2, First Blood and Rambo 2 are great films. They don't even mention 3, and a lot of people say 3 is so bad, I hate it, and whatever. I didn't hate it. I thought it was still pretty good. It was a lot of fun. Still,
neither.
Even with it,
yeah,
that's where it did get a little preachy. Right in the middle, where they were at the round table of all of the fucking Taliban. Not a good direction to go, by the way. Sorry, guys, but not a good direction to go. But they had this whole preachy segment in the middle where they were having a round table with all of the guys, and before they all get wiped out, and one of the guys just has this like real slow monologue about how they're like great people and we're going to be taking... I can't even remember what the fuck he said because I tuned out because it was just preachy. The Taliban guys are really good guys and they're going to... they're the rebellion and I was like...
Yeah, I didn't interpret that way. That I think your take is very interesting because I know nothing about international politics. I know a little bit.
I don't really either, so I don't.
Yeah, I know a little bit about what's happening nowadays with the United States, but that's it. But what were that? Those guys were the Taliban?
So yeah. I don't know the whole story. So I think at the end it said it was like dedicated to the brave fighters in Afghanistan or whatever it was. I guess the name of the group in the film, I may totally be fucking wrong. The name of the group eventually turned into the Taliban. Like they changed names. Like I don't know if you know, but like a lot of those tribes end up changing their names to different stuff like ISIS or ISIL or Taliban or whatever. So I think whatever this group was eventually turned into the Taliban. Again, I may be totally wrong. Don't take me at word, but that's what I think. What everybody has a problem with. What I got out of it though, it felt very like Dances with Wolves style, over idolizing people that like Hollywood doesn't really know. Like they do that with like Native American a lot. Even though I love Native Americans, I'm a Native American in a little way. I could actually technically have a card if I wanted to go out and get that done. So cool. I'm not hating on it. But they I don't know what the word is, but they like idolize the culture. Like they never did anything wrong. And that's kind of felt like in this a little bit. It was like over preachy, like we're the good people and we do these things. I don't know. Maybe it felt a little preachy to me. And I was like, okay, whenever 99% of the film is all explosions and guns and we're not really having a message. And then right in the middle, you have like a 5-minute monologue about who knows what because I tuned out.
Yeah, I see. That kind of explains a lot about why most Americans that I've talked to don't like that movie, and it kind of fits. But the way I see it, the what I took from it with my
your point of view,
my ignorant perception towards what was happening in that area during that time. In my seeing it that way, I thought it was simply an anti-Soviet message.
Yeah, which I think it was. Yeah. Like the second one was also anti-Soviet, which we were in the Cold War, during the second one. And it's the tail end of it, and I guess it wasn't the tail. It wasn't over yet. It was still kind of happening. In '88, whenever the third one came out. So it was all the bad guys were the Ruskies. They were the communist Russians, and it was very against them. And I think in trying to vilify them so much, they made heroes out of. And I don't want to vilify them either. It's a difficult situation, but by making some people that do bad stuff, they made them heroes in a way. and tried to make them look better than the other bad guys in the area. And it was just, I think that's why people kind of get turned off by that message of it. But if you don't think about that message of it, I still like the movie. I mean,
yeah,
because there are good people there. There are people that do try to take care of you and care for each other. And I don't think it's a bad thing to show people from a different culture that in a positive light. I think it was just maybe this specific one, it was a bad choice for them. Yeah.
Okay, right. I see.
But again,
yeah,
I'm a dumb person. I don't know anything. Okay, so I'm gonna take that off the top.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the different takes people can get from it, depending on how much involved they are with the history of those places and such. Like I don't know what the fuck is going on. So
you're just like taking I was taking it at face value.
Yeah, I was just like, hey, explosions, cool. Yeah. But it was a lot of entertainment. There are some stuff that it's even funny, and you don't expect to laugh at a Rambo movie. So it's kind of a change of pace. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad movie, but it's the weakest of the whole trilogy and of the whole franchise.
But I think it has several really great scenes, like the scene in wherever the hell he is in the beginning, where he's fighting with the sticks, like that opening scene is a great scene where you have the general coming back and he's looking for Rambo again, and he finds him in this like middle of nowhere like fishing village, and he's just
because
roided out to the gills again.
Yeah, he's
got those raps.
At the end of Rambo 2, he like just went away in Thailand without his shirt on. Yeah, and now he's on his monastery, Buddhist monastery on Thailand, and people let him live there in exchange for him fixing stuff. Yeah. So I think
he gives away his money, his winnings. He just gives it away.
Yeah. Yeah, and
he's found purpose, is what he says.
He's found purpose. That was the word I was looking for. He's found purpose, and like then comes the colonel, the establishment again, and tries to take it away from him. And he's like, "No, it has to end for me sometime." He says that.
My war is
over for me sometime.
Yeah.
My war is over. And he actually, what I think is super cool about that movie, look, he has muscles on his cheeks. I was not exaggerating.
You're not joking, man.
He's like, by the way, this is where most people believe that Stallone started using HGH, human growth hormone.
I think they're probably right.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I think he's got muscles on muscles.
Yeah, but up to Rambo 2, he was all natural. I believe so. I believe that because he was not that big.
Yeah.
He was just like, how much did he weigh? I read somewhere that he weighed something like 180. Come
on, come play our very scary game where we throw this
dead,
this dead goat around. Yeah. Get it in the circles. Why? Because that's the game.
Yeah, what? And it's like this movie's full of that sort of stuff. The guy tells him, "Hey, you should throw the goat on the circle," and Rambo goes like, "Why?"
Yeah,
and the guy answered, "Because there's a circle there."
Because there is a circle. I like that character.
There's a circle there.
I liked
that
his
guy's cool.
I was so afraid he didn't die. Right? He made it all the way through. The whole time I was like, "This guy's dead. This guy's gonna die. They're gonna kill this guy." I was like, even whenever they were breaking into the compound at the end, and they brought that guy with them, and then that little kid came, and I was like, "This guy's dead, right?" Like this.
And he goes below the wire like,
and he almost
like an idiot.
It's scary. Yeah.
Yeah, and like an idiot, Rambo has to pull in the wire.
He like
from
catches
the
grenade.
Yeah.
See, there's tons of really great stuff in this movie.
Yeah, it has a lot of good stuff. The stupid humor starts when he's with Rambo checking out his equipment, and he's like, there's arrows, there's a knife, and then he goes like, blue light. And then the guy asks, blue light, what does it do? And Rambo looks at him, turns blue.
Yeah, it's like little jokes like that. Yeah. I think that's where
Yeah,
you could tell at the late 80s where he'd done movies like Cobra, Over the
yeah,
Top, Cliffhanger. You know, you're really getting into that like kind of more cheesy Sylvester Stallone career era where they really
yeah.
kind of went into that. And I think that we had an element of like competition between him and Arnold. It's like
Totally.
they were trying to go like who's the
They
more
acknowledge that.
right, yeah.
They acknowledge that.
And it was like they were going back and forth, and I think that's why we lost some of, you know, even though I do love all those movies in that era of just like cheesy action, we lost his acting ability and his more serious drama stuff. Because like when you think about it, like the 80s or the 70s and the 80s, he was very serious. He did action stuff, but he was very serious. And then you had the Sylvester Stallone versus Arnold movie back and forth where they kind of just got crazier and crazier and more cheesy, and you know, which I love. But yeah, you kind of lost his more subtle stuff.
Yeah, and I saw an interview with Sylvester Stallone where he is like, he's so funny about it. He says, hey, I do Rambo and Arnold does Commando. It's like Bimbo and Mimbo.
Yeah.
how much obvious can you be? And he was like complaining about that.
That was in Last Action
awesome.
Hero. Whenever the kid goes into the movie world, they go to the Blockbuster, and there's a Terminator 2 poster or like a standee, and it's Sylvester Stallone, and he was like, yeah, he was great in that film. Like, I love that shit. It's so
awesome.
funny.
It's a little poking.
Yeah.
On the rival. Yeah, it's awesome. And one cool thing about the sequels, about 4 and 5, is that they bring back that depth of the character.
Yeah.
They bring they are more on the line of Rambo 2, which they are still action movies, but they bring back the depth of the writing, of the story, and the darkness of the character. He's not throwing around one-liners and
from what I remember, I haven't watched it in a long time, but Rambo, the fourth one, it's very dark.
Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the author of First Blood, the original author, says that Rambo 4 is the first Rambo movie where the character is actually what he intended it to be in terms of the personality and the darkness and the way he acts. Like, he's just, I don't know if you remember that you say you only watched the first
it's been
three.
Probably like 10 years. Like however long it came out, like that's whenever I watched it.
Yeah, but there's a scene on the boat on Rambo 4 where he's taking the mercenaries to the place where they have to fight, and that guy's just like being an asshole and being super obnoxious to him, and he's just like that. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He's like, doesn't even look at him, and it's like that depth, and that. I don't know. It's just badass. is badass.
Stoic.
Being
stoic.
It's stoic. That was the word I was looking for. Yeah, it's super deep, super cool writing. Once you have the time, you should definitely watch the 4 and 5, and especially 5. Man, it's such a nostalgic fan service. It's super emotional.
What I remember of Rambo, the fourth one. Rambo.
Just say Rambo 4.
Yeah. Rambo 4
you're gonna
is Rambo Part 4 is where he didn't want to. What it seemed is like he didn't want to go back to the old life of him killing shit, and it was like he was.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to do this, and then he's like, I gotta fucking like destroying everybody.
On 3 as well. On 3 as well.
Yeah.
Going back to the 3.
I mean, he says that line where my war is done.
My war is over, and that's
like, stop
cool,
bringing me back in.
Yeah, and that's a point I went on a tangent and didn't finish. He says no to the establishment, but then the Colonel Trotman gets captured, and he's in bad shape. He's being tortured over there. He's being questioned, and he's like behind enemy lines. He's a POW now.
Yeah.
And while saying no to the establishment, he says yes to the friend.
Yeah.
To Sam Trotman. not the establishment guy, but the friend, because he goes there extra officially. Unofficially,
Yeah.
the guy says at the beginning, if you get found, we will deny everything. We cannot make it official. Rambo says, then make it unofficial.
Yeah. Well, and the
it's
comedy
super cool.
sidekick guy says the same thing. He's like, if you go there, I cannot. I take no responsibility. And he's like, I'm getting used to that.
I'm used to.
Yeah.
It's super awesome. So even being kind of cheesy,
There's
we
still
can
a morality
go
tale
a little
in it.
deeper.
There's still character morality there that is good.
Yeah, and that movie, there's also an alternative ending that you can find on YouTube.
Really?
Rambo 3, which is not that of a game changer like the first one, the first alternative ending for First Blood, but it's like when on the original ending he goes back to Thailand, goes back home. But on this alternative ending, he stops the car at the end when they're going away with the car, and the colonel says, "Oh, we're getting a little soft." He says, "Just a bit, sir." Then after that, he stops the car and say, "Wait, stop. I think my place is here." And then he stays on Afghanistan, living with the Afghan people.
Really?
Yeah, that's the alternative ending.
Huh?
It's on YouTube.
So it's just a different location of like where
it's
he
just
ends up.
Yeah, and and that would actually conflict with Rambo 4, because on Rambo 4 he is working as a boatman on Thailand, on those rivers and transporting snakes or whatever.
That's where he calls home.
Yeah, but it's just some cool trivia.
Okay, all right. We'll transition to the last two more. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but I'm gonna get some super chats in.
Right.
Real quick. Aaron Klein again. Am I doing it again? Blair Linda, Ruckus. That's right. Let me refresh and make sure I get the right one. Could have done that while you were talking. Damn. All right. Jesse Moore again for another $50. Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
Thanks, Jesse. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Denzel Washington is the Equalizer in the Equalizer movies. Great action movies. I've not watched the Equalizer. Have you watched them?
Yeah, it's on my list. I need to watch it.
I need to watch it. Denzel is awesome. I love Denzel.
Yeah, he's cool.
He seems like a really great dude. Just like as a person, he seems like a really great dude.
Yeah,
and he's always great in all the movies he's in, and he doesn't let a lot like Anthony Hopkins. He's like, I'm just an actor. I want to do acting. I don't want to be commenting on politics or all this stuff. Let me do my acting stuff, and then maybe give you some wisdom here and there, but mostly just I'm an actor and let me do that. And I love that.
Yeah, there's some small islands of common sense in Hollywood for sure. Denzel Washington, Terry Crews, Sylvester Stallone,
Keanu
Reeves. Yeah, there's a few breaths of fresh air.
Well, you do notice that it's all old. It's all older guys from like the '90s era.
Well, there's Chris Pratt.
That's true.
Chris Pratt is an exception.
That is true. And he was in that
of
Magnificent Seven with Denzel Washington, which was not a great movie.
That's right.
It was entertaining.
I thought it was entertaining.
It was entertaining. Yeah, it wasn't amazing, but it was
I wouldn't watch it again, but
yeah, because it was kind of bummery. Like I was like, oh,
yeah.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, it sounded like that sort of movie that entertains you while it's on.
That was cool. And it had a good cast.
Yeah,
it was a good cast.
I was on a kick a while ago about westerns, and then I saw it amongst other western movies, and it entertained me.
One of my favorite modern western films, 3:10 to Yuma. Have you seen that movie?
Oh. Never watched it.
You're in for a treat. It's got Christian Bale and
what is the name again?
3:10 to Yuma. It's got Christian Bale and Russell Crowe. What's his name? The other villain. It's got a bunch of people in it. But but it's a great movie. It's basically Christian Bale is like an old Civil War vet, I want to say. He's like lost his leg or something, and he's been tasked with taking this outlaw, Russell Crowe, to Yuma, to the 310 train station. Like the train is leaving at 310 in Yuma, and he's been tasked with taking this old villain to that place, and it's the whole story of them going there, and then the villain's posse, his gang, are following him and trying to free him, and the villain is fucking great. Charlie Prince is his name, and yeah, it's just a great modern day made Western, and those are few and far between.
Awesome.
Also, Bone Tomahawk.
To my list.
Have you seen that? Bone Tomahawk with
No.
Kurt Russell. That's a good fucking movie.
No, I don't think so.
Bone Tomahawk.
It's a Western?
Yes, Western. Yes. It's very gory though. Cannibals. It has cannibals in it, but it's fucking good too. It's fucking good as well.
Yeah, I've been playing Red Dead Redemption, replaying Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, I might be in the mood for some westerns.
We'll pick those two up. Pick those two up. In a Pickle for $20. Thank you, In a Pickle. I appreciate it. Love hearing you guys talk about movies I watched in the theaters as a teen. Well, damn, you're old, bro.
Wow. Which one?
Yeah, which I get all of them.
Like
you were a teenager
First
for all
Blood?
of them?
All of them?
Whoa, dude. You're like a time traveler. Bro.
Nice.
Well, that's whenever the good movies were. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just us, but it seems like those were when the good movies were made. Now there's good movies every once in a while, but like there's so many classics from like the 80s and 90s.
Man, imagine being raised like to Rambo, Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
I know.
In the 80s. Man, that was... Yeah, I don't think it's just nostalgia. It's real.
Yeah, those are great films. Great films. All right, so Rambo. So I have seen parts of Rambo 4, and I know how it ends. I think right. He ends up going to back to America, and like he does the walk off at the very end. The credits roll, and he walks down that.
He goes to his family's farm.
Yeah, which I like about all these movies is that each one picks up where the last one left off, like location wise. It was like First Blood, he was arrested. Part 2, he's in a prison camp, like breaking rocks. At the end of that one, he walks off into Taiwan. And the third one, he's in Taiwan. He's stick fighting with people at this monastery. At the end of that one, he stays in Taiwan. Then 30 years later, whenever the next movie, I think it's 20 years. The next movie is made.
I think it's between 3 and 4 is 20 years, and between 4 and 5, I think it's about 10.
Almost 10.
He's actually playing an old Rambo this time because Sylvester Stallone during Rambo 4 was already more than 60, but Rambo was about 50 years old, he looks like, at least. But on Rambo 5, like, this is the most nostalgic aspect to it because you see the character like actually old. He's actually old. He's actually a 70, probably on his late 60s old man. And that's the great thing about it, because you feel like whoa, I watched this guy being a badass and killing people and exploding things when I was a kid. Now I'm an adult and this guy's old. So it adds a lot more meaning, I believe, because you feel like you're in a journey along.
Well, I imagine it's like you said, a journey. It's you see his whole life almost, you know, not his early life, but you see him go from being a veteran, just kind of wayward, walking around, and then through his whole life up until now he's back home in America and coming back to his family farm, and he's like, put away the guns, I'm moving on. But what is the like premise of the movie? I know there's guys
5?
coming at him. Yeah, at 5. There's people coming for him. What is it?
It's hard to say without giving major spoilers, but I'll try to keep away from the spoilers. It's like he finally found his piece. He has a family. He has a niece, and he's like working with horses. I don't know what the fuck he does with the horses, but he's working
farm stuff.
He does farm stuff and breaks horses and that sort of stuff. And he found his piece. And in the middle of the movie, he loses something very precious to him, and he loses that piece. That final resolution that they give to the character on Rambo 4 is taken away from him. And he is like in nothing to lose mode again. And
like in Rambo Part 2, whenever she gets killed, and he's like,
exactly,
back on. It switched back on.
But much darker.
Really?
Much darker than 2. Yeah, you need to see it. And it's like, I teared up. So I teared up on a Rambo movie.
Does it bring a good, like, kind of cyclical ending to the whole saga?
Yeah, some people would say that Rambo 5 shouldn't exist because they want to believe the character found his piece at the end of 4.
Yeah, where he walks.
But like now the character has nothing to lose, and the only motivation he has and the only motivation you have for the character is revenge. That's the only thing that matters to the character. And yeah, it's a revenge story. That's it. If I had to summarize the premise, it's a revenge story. And that's pretty much it. And it's like it works. It's a simple premise that works.
I heard that it like you said, it was a fan service. Like it was a lot of it was a good return to form. It wasn't. I heard that it wasn't great. Like it wasn't great. Like it wasn't a tour de force, fantastic movie, but it was a good time, a good entertaining movie.
Yeah, like, to me it was super meaningful because of the journey aspect of the character. It was super deep and like probably the darkest Rambo movie.
Really?
But yeah, I would say so. But and there's talk about Rambo 6, and then I would be like, how much shit can you throw at a character?
He's like 85 at this point. Like, what's gonna happen?
And it's like, give him some peace, will you?
Yeah.
Because how much shit can you throw at a character?
You want him to have peace.
Yeah, and keep it believable. If they can come up with a story that is believable, but I think if a character goes through torture and he gets arrested and almost kills a bunch of cops and all kinds of shit happened to him, then it's just like it's not believable anymore. It's not relatable anymore. What's fucking relatable is stuff like Rocky. You can make as many Rocky movies as you want because his problems are normal human beings problems, not Rambo. Rambo's like exceptional problems. He has like some stuff that you don't go through. So I think that the character can wear thin.
Yeah.
And a Rambo,
I can definitely see that happening. Being like, okay, how many times could you get yourself into a crazy over the top action situation and get out alive? You know, how many times? You know, it's like the first one, totally grounded, totally believable. I could believe all that happened. Second one, okay.
Yeah.
You're getting there, but you're a Green Beret. I could see this. Third one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Third one, he's surrounded by the Russian army and says, "Fuck him."
Yeah. Oh my God. There's like
that's the peak of the movie. That's
everywhere.
The peak of the movie. He looks
peak
around.
Cheese. No. Hey.
Yeah.
Rambo. John. What do we do? Fuck him.
Fuck him.
And they're just shooting at him. Nothing. They don't get shot.
Yeah.
I think the general gets shot in the shoulder. You know, the classic. Oh, my shoulder, but I'm not dead. You know, he's not dead.
He's shot in the leg too. Before entering a tank and like crashing into a helicopter with the tank.
Yeah, it gets ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Oh, we didn't even say that scene where he puts the gunpowder in the hole and lights it on fire. I remember that part
when I was
burned into my brain as a kid.
Yeah, me too.
It's such a badass moment.
When I saw that, yeah, I covered my eyes when I was a kid because it looks so real.
And the fire
practical
goes out both
effects,
sides.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, how much I miss practical effects.
Rad.
To imagine that all those explosions like that was actually happening. And it's another vibe when you see some CG stuff and you know that the actors are safe.
Yeah.
They don't
they know that they're safe, so they don't get that. There's something about having those practical explosions, even though you do camera tricks so they're far away or whatever, or sometimes they're running through real fire. He had real fire on him. That was real. There's a different feeling.
And then probably there was a prosthetic there protecting it, something like that. But it was on his body. Of course, we're not advocating for actors to go over there and kill themselves for entertainment, safe. But we
appreciate.
We have great stunt. We appreciate it.
Yes.
But we have great stunt doubles that are very professional and know what they're doing, and that's why people appreciate stuff like Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise doing his all craziness himself. It's him that's there, and it's all happening for real.
And I remember that. I remember that being a thing since Mission Impossible 2, when he climbed that. He was doing that rock climbing thing in the very beginning. I remember it being like people saying, "Oh my gosh, it's really Tom Cruise. He's really rock climbing. Oh my gosh!" And he does that jump where he jumps
nerve-wracking.
Back. And for everyone, it's like, "Oh, Tom Cruise. What's the new stunt? What is he gonna do in this new one?" So we audiences appreciate that kind of stuff, and there's something about doing it for real and actually putting, it kind of sucks, but putting your life on the line or for injury on the line at the very least. To do stunts, there's something different about it. You can't recreate in a computer. The millionth time I see The Rock jump from one crumbling building to another crumbling building, it means nothing to me because it's like it's all a cartoon. It's a big cartoon. It doesn't mean anything.
He's actually on a green screen with wires and a net and all sort of stuff. It's like it means nothing.
Think about that skyscraper he was in where he jumped, and it was like, he's going to make it, I know. But there's nothing scary about it. And then you see, you go back to the other skyscraper, the proto-skyscraper, Die Hard, where he jumps off the building and he ties that thing around, and it explodes, and the fire is fucking right there. It's like, it's real. And he's going down, and you're like, is he going to live? And then you see it, he's like getting dangled by the fire hose, and you're like, fuck, that shit looks scary. You actually get worried
about Bruce Willis himself. Is Bruce Willis gonna live?
Right, yeah. I mean,
not only the character.
You know that it's not real and like it's totally fine, but there's still something in your brain that's like, oh shit, like that's still there enough.
Because
it helps you do that.
That was a perfect comparison.
To break your suspension of disbelief, and it adds to that. Whenever I see CGI buildings and shit, like it I don't believe it. I just don't. And
and this is my criticism to the two newer Rambo movies. Too much CGI.
Really,
it makes the movie cheaper. So I'm glad that this allowed Stallone to do this, but it's not, as you said, it's not the same.
Yeah. What another thing about it is, like, I watch Corridor Digital when they do like the Stuntman React, where they go through different stunts and they show what they've done. They show a lot of like the MCU stunts, and a lot of those MCU stunts that look fake and they look CGI are actually done for real by stunt people.
Oh, really?
But they cover it up with so much extra stuff where it makes the entire shot look fake. So there's something about that element of, like, as soon as you add some CGI elements in a shot, it like ruins the whole feel of it. Like, you have to have like a genuine shot that is real, done in camera. That's where you have that difference between like what feels real and what feels like CG, because it can be done for real. You can really have some, like for example, in Civil War, where Black Black Panther slides down the side of that building. He's like scraping the side of that building, sliding down. That was done for real. They had a real stuntman slide down that building. But in the movie, there's something like they tweaked it and made it a little different and put, a little CGI. They CGI'd his costume and removed the wires and the little dots and stuff. So then it just looks like a CGI shot, and it makes it it undoes all of the greatness that they actually put a lot of work into.
It ruins the work. Yeah, it ruins the actual work from the stunt double. If I were that stunt double, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I'd be like, I was scared. That was scary.
Yeah.
But now you're just gonna cover me with CGI. Why don't you just do that? I'm sure they get paid well, hopefully.
I feel there are some exceptions, and I feel it may have something to do with like there's a point that you have so much CGI that it becomes like the artistic concept of the movie. And when I say that, I'm thinking about 300, for example.
That's true.
To me, 300, it became like an animation movie. Like
that's part of the style of it. Watchmen's the same kind of way. That is the style of the film. So you kind of accept it.
Then it becomes acceptable again. It becomes exciting again because it's everything's it's at the same vibe. But when you have something that an actual stunt double did, but you add something else there, like your eye will detect it, will capture it.
It's that uncanny valley. Like, you're right. Like your eye just goes, that's not real. I'm out. That's not real. I'm out. Something like what you just said, an exception to the rules, like Alita, all CGI, but she's very believable in the stunts that that they do in that movie, and like the emotion and whatnot. So they can pull it off. It's just I don't know what there's something about the kind of like manufactured films, action movies that we have these days, that there's something about those films and that CGI that they use that seems, and I don't want to say half-assed because I know a lot of work goes into it, but it doesn't feel perfect. It's well done. A lot of it is well done, and it's like, wow, you can do all the stuff that you do with CGI and replacing backgrounds and putting whole costumes on people, but it doesn't feel authentic. It feels fake. It feels like a facade. It feels like I'm seeing a costume that's like a cartoon on top of a real person. But we've gone way.
We did.
But no, keep going. That's fine.
No, I was gonna say that I think this kind of got popular after Matrix, but Matrix did it pretty well, and it did it like not as for laziness, but they actually had reasons to do it because it was impossible to do what they were set to do without CGI.
Yeah,
it's not like I don't want to pay a stunt double to do that, so I'll make it CGI. It was actually the only way. But then after that, it was like a trend to substitute
everything. Sometimes I see ridiculous CGI use, like when somebody in Terminator Dark Fate, at the end of the movie, they're going to get into the Jeep, and Sarah Connor throws the keys to whatever Ramos, and she catches them, and it's CGI keys. She pantomimes throwing keys, and she pantomimes catching keys, and they get in the car. I'm like, just throw real keys.
Can't you make the actress catch a freaking maybe she has Parkinson or something? But
not good hand-eye coordination.
But you can actually get a pretty great shot in slow motion with actually your cell phone and do a pretty cool video of that. Why do guys?
There seems to be an element of laziness of like, we can do that in post, we can do that in CGI. Whenever it's just simple stuff, like, come on, guys, can we just stop? So annoying. So annoying whenever they overuse it like that. I'm going to get to a couple of these, and then I'm going to have an announcement for October. Oh, October. In a Pickle again for $20. Thank you so much, In a Pickle. I appreciate it. Born in 1968. It's a good year. 1968. My first car was a 1968 Mustang Coupe.
Almost 69.
Oh. I didn't like the 1969 Mustang. Didn't like it as much. That was the same year my dad was born. Make you feel old. in a pickle, make you feel old. So pretty much all of them are the teen movies, and by the way, the theaters were drive-ins mostly. Oh, and
awesome.
Wait, they didn't have movie theaters in the 80s? Maybe it's just your area.
I've never went on a drive-in. We don't have the sort of stuff here.
I went once. I watched Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, I think. Whichever one where he was like in the water. Where he went in there, like held his breath and went in that water tank thing. I went and watched that in a movie theater, like a drive-in.
I think it's the fourth one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Fourth or fifth one. One of those. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I like drive-ins.
Yeah, people start giving numbers to your movies. Please.
Yeah, come on. It's too hard to tell. I can't tell with your subtitled names. Jeez. But could you imagine, man, you're lucky, dude. You got to watch Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Rambo's, all of the Arnold movies, like
Rocky.
All in theaters. You got to watch that in theaters, man. Jealous.
Wow. We will get the director's cut of Rocky 4 on theaters.
They should re-release
all
those. No.
They should re-release. But yeah, Stallone is re-editing Rocky 4.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they do?
He's taking away the robot.
Oh, okay. That makes sense now. I was like, what is he going to cut out?
But yeah, apparently it will be like a whole different
Is it going to be
movie.
like a re-released DVD set or something, or is it going to be in theaters?
I don't know. It probably they will decide that based on the box office.
It'd be awesome if they released it in theaters. I love watching movies in theaters. That's my shit.
Yeah, man.
I watched all of the Star Wars movies in order from like episode 1 through all the way to episode 7. That's how I watched episode 7. Was a full marathon in theaters. I stayed up the night before, camped out. It was cold as hell because it was December. We watched all of them. I fell asleep through the best ones, which sucked because I was up. I was up for episode 1, 2, and 3, but then
it was like in a
4,
row,
5, and 6. Yeah, they were all in a row. So it was like 12 hours or something crazy.
I never did that, even at home.
Yeah. I also did Harry Potter, but that wasn't in theaters. That was at home. That was that was like 23 hours. Like all of the Harry Potter movies, 23 hours. It's insane.
There's a guy on YouTube that re-edited, and this is like totally amateur, but it's totally amazing. He re-edited the prequels.
Yes.
Star Wars
I actually
prequels
have that.
into one movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I have
It's awesome.
I haven't watched it, but I have it. Where they cut, they kind
awesome.
he streamlines it and makes it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched all 7 of them. That was crazy. And then I was disappointed at the end.
The only Star Wars movies that I watched on theater was episode 3. Probably episode 3 was the most. It was the movie that I was most anxious for in my whole life. I watched it twice, and that's why I love the prequels, because the prequels were like my Star Wars, the Star Wars that I had the opportunity to get the hype with, to wait for, to be anxious and wait for it to release. And the other Star Wars that I watched on theaters was episode 7, and then I never came back to the sequels.
Good for you.
I was one of the few, and I swear to God, I was skeptic from the first. It didn't take me The Last Jedi.
Really?
From the death of Han Solo. Yeah, from the death of Han Solo, I was like, this is fucking bullshit. Fuck this.
Fuck this shit. The thing is, I watched all 6 movies in a row in the theater up until 7, right? So the hype is getting crazier and crazier. All the way, you're like, oh my God. What could possibly be happening in episode 7? It's going to be so crazy. It's going to be rad. Then we watch it. And we're watching the whole thing. And I'm like, okay, it's awesome. Okay, it's awesome. And then Han Solo dies, which I was like, I was prepared for it to happen, because I was like, I knew Han Solo, or Harrison Ford, wanted to kill Han Solo, so I was like, it's probably gonna happen. So it happened. Let it happen. And then the movie ended, and I legit thought the movie was gonna go on for another half. I thought this was the middle. I was like, oh, Rey is meeting Luke, and the rest of this movie is about Luke, like, training her, and like we're gonna end at the end where she's kind of trained a little bit. No, the movie was just done. So I felt I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then
And there are some people that say that they try to trace like a parallel with 4, 5, and 6, and 7 is nothing like 4. Nothing.
No, yeah, I don't see. I mean, there's like the Death Star and like there's obvious kind of stuff like that. But
yeah, but 4 is a complete movie in itself.
Yeah.
7, as you said, you didn't even think it was over.
Yeah. So I chalked it up to I just watched 6 movies in a row right before it. Maybe that's why I didn't like it at the end. So then after that, I kind of justified it to myself. I was like, it's still Star Wars. Like I like it, And then
I did that for a while
because
too.
I'm so I do theories a lot, and like, what if it was this, and what if it's that, and what if Kylo Ren is like a double agent and he's not really a Sith, and Han Solo wanted him to kill him to get closer to Snoke, and I came up with all these like cool theories and stuff, totally way better than fucking what we actually got. Then sure. It took me until after Last Jedi, and I legit I will own up, I liked Last Jedi the first 2 times I watched it, and then I watched somebody that didn't like it break it down, and I was like, holy shit, they're totally right. This does actually harm so many things about Star Wars and about the characters and all that stuff. Like it's horrendous.
It's a giant middle finger to Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah. So I had hypnosis, which is the Doomcock term. Hypnosis. I was hyped for Star Wars.
Exactly.
And I was blinded by that.
Hype.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that initial hype that, wow, it's like I'm watching a new Star Wars movie on modern times. How amazing.
Whoa, so
is
cool.
That?
Like, practical effects. They're using practical effects again.
Yeah, so there's the power of the brand that kind of keeps you like, because you want it to be good. You don't want it to suck. It's like it's your favorite thing ever. It's your childhood. You don't want it to suck. You're resistant to the idea.
I've got a small son too, so I'm like, I want this to be like his Star Wars, and I take him to the movies.
Star Wars.
Yeah, and
it's like
I didn't take him to the third one. I was like, I'm not taking you to that. I don't want you to.
Yeah, people say we find excuses to say it sucks. It's not like we want it to suck.
Right.
We want it to be good.
I want to like it.
It's like look at the walls, the shelves of our friends on Friday night sites. It's filled.
I
with
spent
$500,
almost $600 on Hot Toys with Han and Chewie. And
look at this.
So $700. It would be like $750 because I got Boba Fett later. But like, I fucking love Star Wars, and this
is freaking awesome. Those
Millennium
people
Falcon.
live for that shit.
Right, I love that shit. I have not watched the movies. I have not watched Star Wars in 3 years, and definitely since
me too.
Last Jedi or Rise of whatever the fuck. I have not watched
Rise of whatever the fuck.
Like I don't even care to go back and watch, which it fucking sucks because I love those movies, like to the core. Because it was something like you and Rambo, like you watched with your dad. That Star Wars was something that I watched with my dad. Like my earliest memories was watching Empire Strikes Back in the movie theater when they did the re-release. Like that's one of my earliest memories. And he loved Star Wars and passed it down to me, and we always watched it all the time. So like I had a intense connection to Star Wars because it was like a family thing. And then when I was in my teens and like the prequels came out, and then I had a connection with that because all my friends loved it, and we had a bond because we all love Star Wars, so it was like even more. So going into the sequels, I want them to be the best movies ever. My mind is like it's Star Wars, it's the best thing ever. And then it just kind of, was not. So
yeah, right. People act as if we enjoy the fact that it sucks. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't. That's why we're pissed, because we don't enjoy the fact that it sucks. We don't enjoy talking about it. We don't enjoy trying to convince people that it sucks. Actually, we don't need to convince anyone. People know. Actually, people who think they are good are the ones who need to convince others.
You gotta convince me.
Yeah, it's not an enjoyable talk to have.
Yeah.
Talking about your favorite franchise, your favorite characters being ruined. It's not enjoyable.
Yeah,
it's fucking stressful.
And we have to do that so often nowadays.
Yeah,
it's Star Wars, it's Star Trek, it's Doctor Who, it's this, it's that,
man.
It's that. Luckily, thank goodness that Rambo was good because like
Oh man,
they could have screwed that up too. They're about to screw up Indy.
God bless Sylvester Stallone, man.
Yeah. So we're bringing
What
it back
a
to Rambo.
breath of fresh air. Yeah.
Bringing
But
it back.
no. One last consideration about episode 7. The first thing that I thought, I was not into culture war during those days. I was just like, this is a bad movie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of proof of how bad it is, because it's not. I wasn't aware of that culture war thing. I saw Han Solo being killed, and I thought, wow, this villain, this bad guy, is so much of a pussy, so much of a sissy, that they have to resort to killing one of your favorite characters for you to hate him, for you to build that villain. That was my assessment and on episode 7, and why I hated it. It's like, just write a good villain.
Yeah,
I know it's hard to follow Darth Vader. Yeah, I know it's hard to follow Darth Vader, one of the greatest villains of all time, if not the greatest villains of all time. But like, you cannot write a good villain. You need to kill one of the most iconic characters of one of the greatest franchises of all time for us to be scared of him. Well, it didn't work.
Yeah, because now I hate him.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
now
in a
I hate
good
the
way.
Movie.
Yeah,
now
I hate the whole
movie.
fucking movie.
I don't hate your villain. I hate your whole movie. Thanks. But yeah,
you're right.
Back to Rambo.
Back to Rambo. Let's. I'm gonna wrap this up because we've been going for like 2 hours now. Thanks for coming on the channel.
Wow.
I appreciate it. It was a good pick to do Rambo. Because I haven't watched it in a long time.
Go fast when
it's good.
Time goes fast when doing something, when we're talking about stuff we enjoy.
Dude.
Really appreciate
that's what this show's all about. Like, I want to talk, because we always talk about stuff we don't like. Friday Night Tights. It's usually about some shit we don't like, and it pisses us off. So I like to go back and be like, yeah, there are some good shit that you can go watch right now that is good. And if you haven't watched it in a long time, if you watched it yesterday, if you've never watched it ever, it'll be something that you can go to and that's good right now. That's what I like to do this show about. And thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, dude.
My absolute pleasure, man.
All right. Low Pro for $5. Thank you for the $5. If you're looking for a good movie made after the 90s, check out Solomon Kane. Ooh, that's a good movie, dude. The Man from Nowhere, Nobody. I heard that's also a good movie. Drinker just did a video on it. Critical Drinker, go watch that. Underwater, haven't seen that one. And Get the Gringo. Get the Gringo, that has Mel Gibson, right? I believe so. Mel Gibson.
I don't know that one. But yeah, Solomon Kane, I started watching it. I was very tired on that day, and I slept. But until that moment, I was enjoying it.
I did the same thing. I watched it once because it was on Netflix, and I was like, "Whoa, what is this? This looks interesting." And I fell asleep. Same way, yeah. And then after Razor Fist did his Solomon Kane video where he like goes through all the stories of Solomon Kane, which is a great video. Go watch it. If you don't know Solomon Kane, you fucking should, because Solomon Kane is rad.
Is it a comic?
It was an old pulp. So it's written by the same guy that wrote Robert E. Howard. He wrote Conan. So it's in that same kind of like.
Oh, totally. Like it has the style, yeah.
Proto comic book pulp stories. It's got that masculine character. He's
sword and sorcery.
Yes. There's mysticism, and it's a great stories before the movie, and it's actually a really good movie too. It's kind of a lower. It's not super high budget, but it still has some good production value. And the lead character is actually really good. The lead actor, he does a really good job. And it's kind of like the origin of Solomon Kane. So if you watch the movie and then you go to the books, it kind of picks it up from there. But yeah,
awesome. I'll rewatch and not even rewatch. I'll watch it.
Yeah, watch it for the first time. But yeah, solid recommendations. I'll pick up that. I gotta watch Nobody as well. Mighty Moose for $10. Oh, sorry. 10 Canadian syrup coins, and with a little Doge sticker. He's doing a little dance. Thank you. I appreciate it. Late art with another check 190 or 129 mystery dollars. But thank you so much for however much that is. I appreciate all of it. If Dan can catch a hot dog in slow motion in one of his videos without CGI, they should be able to do it in a movie too.
Yeah, that was for my cover of a song called Orgy for One from the band Ninja Sex Party.
Oh, Ninja Sex Party. I like Ninja Sex Party.
Yeah, I covered Orgy for
How
One.
many takes?
And
how many takes did that take?
It was actually not hard. It's like I always practice sports. I have good reflexes. So yeah, you just throw it up and catch it.
Nice.
Not that hard.
It's not
it's
hard,
kind of
guys.
Uncomfortable. Get it?
Oh, ladies.
Ladies.
All right. Oh, and on the donation side, if there's a link in the description, if you use that, it subverts YouTube, and I like that. I like subverting YouTube. Teddy Worm for $50. Thank you so much. I appreciate all you guys sending in super chats.
Hell yeah.
It helps keeping these lights specifically on. Hail boys. Sorry for assuming gender. It's okay. That's okay.
We're
talking about Rambo.
Assumed my gender.
Over masculine talk right now. Okay. This is the type of content I love. Thank you. Quarter Black, keep on keeping it real, man. Found you on FNT, and now I am a fan. Dude, thank you. I love to hear that. Dan, I play games with no music on and just listen to your music. You rock.
Hey, awesome.
JoJo cover.
Thank you.
Now, please. What is JoJo?
JoJo. Like that anime where everyone looks like a transsexual?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I think
guess
I know. Yeah.
Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Teddy Worm. Well, all right. Well,
Thank you.
That's everything. That's all the soups. Well, that was a fantastic conversation. Thank you, Dan, again for coming on the channel.
It was awesome. My pleasure.
Thank you, everybody in the chat for hanging out and sending soups and just watching. I appreciate all you guys and gals for just watching. Also, next month, October, right?
Yeah, next month. It's October.
At some point next month, I want to do Evil Dead, the Evil Dead trilogy. I'm going to do Evil Dead trilogy, so I just need somebody to talk to about it with. So send in your suggestions for who you think should come on and talk about Evil Dead, and maybe I can make it happen. So we're definitely going to talk about that because I fucking love those movies. I once did a triple feature Evil Dead where I watched 1, 2, 3, and then watch 1, 2, 3 again. Same day.
Do you believe I never watched it?
Brother, you got to watch Evil Dead.
Never watched Evil Dead.
It's amazing. So, just so you know, each movie was made with a different production company, so they didn't have the rights to the last movie. So they made the first movie. Then in the second movie, they had to kind of like remake the first movie again a little bit, but they improved it. And then in the third movie, they had to like remake the like bits and pieces of the second movie to like lead into the third movie. It's pretty funny the way it like kind of all happened, and there's a lot of interesting production stuff in the behind the scenes of it all. But yeah, fantastic movies. I love them. They're cheesy, ridiculous, and Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, match made in heaven.
Man, amazing. I love Sam Raimi.
He's so good.
He did one of my favorite shows ever, which is Hercules from the 90s.
Yes.
And recently he did Spartacus.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I heard. I didn't know that.
Man.
I need to watch Spartacus now that I know that he did it.
It's awesome, but it's not the movie it's not the show to watch with your family, by no means.
That's what I heard, yeah. It's not.
A lot of violence and sex. And as Gary says, the world needs more of that now. But don't watch it with your family.
Don't watch it with your family. But yeah, I love Sam Raimi. So, Evil Dead, for sure. All right, last super chat. Laid art again for I was right for 129 Czechoslovakian dollars. Czech Republic. It's not Czechoslovakian, I know. It's Czech Republic. or you got to explain to me what the KC is, but I'm just going to say dollars until you correct me. It's check. Yes. LOL. Awesome talk, guys. Totally worth getting up at 2 a.m. for. Hey, well, thank you. Thank you for getting up at 2 a.m. or just staying up until 2 a.m. I love the Czech people.
Thank you.
The Czech people. One of my favorite games made by the Czech was Deliverance. What was it? Kingdom Come Deliverance. You ever play that game?
Oh man, I need to play that.
Dude, I fucking it's hard. There's a learning curve to it that once you get the hang of the sword fighting and whatnot, you'll feel like you actually learned how to sword fight, and then like you're actually doing, because it's not like leveling up in a way of an RPG where you like check a box and you add, skill points to a sword fighting skill. Like you physically actually get better at fighting. It's great. It's a great game.
Awesome.
I backed it way back.
Actually,
in the day.
one of my favorite bands did a song in collaboration with that game.
Really?
To promote it. Yeah, Sabaton did a cover. Yeah, they did a cover of Kingdom Come from Manowar.
Makes sense.
For this game's trailer.
Dude, that game, fantastic game. If you haven't played it, go play it. It's great. It's got a learning curve, like I said, but it's great.
Is it on Steam?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay.
I think they're doing a sequel. They better be doing a sequel.
How about Xbox One? Is it on Xbox
I
One?
think it released on every platform, I believe.
Okay, because I paid high dollar for that fucking console. I don't have any games, and I need to use it.
All right. Well, again,
Series
thank
X.
you, Dan. Thank you, chat.
Hey, my pleasure, my
friend. Dan, plug away. What do you got? What are you doing? What's coming up?
Hey, check me on YouTube, youtube.com/Dan Vasc, and you're smart enough to get the rest for yourself from there.
Yeah. Go to his YouTube, go to his Twitter, go to his Instagram. Follow all that stuff's in the links below if you want to follow Dan, and I think you should. Until next time.
Thank you.
Stay classy. Good night.
Good night.
Lenny Tinny. Good night. May your dreams be filled with explosions and gunfire and one-liners.